So we're going to delve into now whether Robert Daly was aware of the investigatory procedure, but also the training that he had on the Horizon system. Did he have training at all? We've heard that the subpostmaster Horizon training from certain subpostmasters, at least, they've said was woefully insufficient. So were Post Office training their own investigators sufficiently in the system, which was crucial in bringing the prosecutions? Let's jump into the inquiry.
Could we have on screen, please, document reference POL 001 21680?
Right, so this looks like an email. Is he in it? From Andrew Daly. Committal papers. Hi team, for your information and action, would you be interested in the presentation by Mick? I'll see if he can make it to our next team meeting in October. So this is in 2010. Let's see what's going on here.
The top email on this page is an email from Andrew Daly to you, among other investigators, dated the 6th of September 2010, asking whether there is any interest in a presentation from a Royal Mail Investigation Procedures and Standards Manager called Mick Matthews in relation to procedures and standards applying to committal papers. So if we can scroll down a little, Mick Matthews' email at the bottom of the page, also dated the 6th of September 2010, was originally sent to Ian Murphy and Andy Hayward.
So there's clearly collaboration between the investigation team and the criminal law team, as you would expect, so it's not like they're acting in isolation and just passing things between each other.
And he says, Ian, Andy, I have developed procedures and standards in respect of committal papers, and this has been agreed by the criminal law team. Accordingly, the P&S and the relevant forms are associated with this email. Arrangements are in hand to publish the documents on SharePoint and the GSD. A presentation has been delivered to RML, is that Royal Mail Letters?
Yes.
And PFWW, Parcel Force Worldwide?
Yes.
Investigators, as they do not get the same number of committals as investigators in Post Office Limited.
Interesting. So there is some involvement with Royal Mail and Parcel Force with Post Office investigations, or is it just that the training and practice is being shared? That's not totally clear yet.
So you may wish to merely forward this to your investigators for their information in respect of the procedures and amended forms. You address this email and the documents which were attached to it at paragraph 78 of your first statement. We needn't pull it up on screen unless you'd like to go to it, Mr. Daly, but you say that you cannot recall exactly when you received the materials attached to Mick Matthews' original email, but your belief is that this would have been the first occasion on which you saw those materials.
The materials within his, is it full? Yes.
The materials to which you were referred for the purposes of making your statement, the attachments to the email, included a new procedures and standards document relating to committal papers dated July 2010, an updated version of a procedures and standards document dealing with disclosure of unused material, and the Criminal Procedure and Investigations Act 1996, and that was dated the 1st of July 2010. And it also attached a copy of the Criminal Procedure and Investigations Act 1996 Code of Practice.
So he had access to the documents that he needed to do his job, whether he read them or not. He seems to be suggesting he opened the zip file, so we have to presume so.
To clarify, is it your evidence at paragraph 78 of your statement that you had not received any of these documents, including a copy of the CPIA Code of Practice, before this point in September 2010?
Something makes me think she might have some evidence to the contrary.
Sorry, can I see paragraph 78 again?
If we can pull up the paragraph on screen, it's paragraph 78.
Is that a delaying tactic?
The first statement, and that is page 21. Scrolling down a little, please. At paragraph 77, you refer to the document we've just looked at, the email from Andrew Daly dated the 6th of September 2010, together with its attachments, and there are 4 attachments there. 3 of those are ones that I've just referred to. One of them is the CPIA Code of Practice, and we can go to that document if it would help to see it. Would that assist, or do you know the document I'm referring to?
To be fair to him, I guess he is trying to remember things from a long time ago, so let's give him the benefit of the doubt. It's always wise to see a document before commenting on it.
If we can just take the attachments in turn, actually, the first is POL 001 04837, and that is the Procedures and Standards document which Mick Matthews refers to creating the committal and summary trial papers and processes, July 2010.
So let's have a look at that. The aim of this document is to provide investigators within the Royal Mail Group Limited, so investigators like the team of investigators Robert Daly was managing, with clear guidance on what papers should be submitted to the criminal law team, that's still within the post office, in the event of a defendant electing trial at magistrates or Crown Court, i.e. if they're disputing the charges or offers no plea at the magistrates court is committed to the Crown Court for trial.
The next attachment was POL 001 04848. This is the Appendix 1 to PNS 9.5, Disclosure of Unused Material and the Criminal Procedure and Investigations Act 1996, and that version is dated the 1st of July 2010.
So she's hammering home this unused material and disclosure of it. Is there going to be some evidence presented that this didn't happen, which is certainly, I think, the stance of a lot of subpostmasters who have spoken out.
The next attachment is POL 000 64059, and that is the CPIA Code of Practice. If you need to, we can look at the next page, scrolling down a little, please.
Yeah, that's fine. Can I go back to paragraph 78 again, please?
Yes, of course.
Can I see the whole?
Paragraph 78 of the statement, page 21, please. So looking first at 77, you've looked at the email and those attachments that we've just looked at, the first three. And you say, you're asked where I was based when I received this email, whether this was the first time I'd been sent these materials, and if any presentation about them was given. And then you say at 78, the documents relate to some procedures and standards that have been developed in relation to committal papers. At the time I received the email at document, in this document reference, I was based in Scotland. I can't recall exactly when I received the materials, but it is my belief that this would have been the first occasion on which I saw them. And we'll come on to the presentation and your recollection on that. But my question is in relation to the attachment that is the Code of Practice, and whether that is in the same category as the Procedure and Standards documents, in that you received it for the first time at this stage, or whether you had received that document any sooner.
I can't recall receiving it before then.
You also say at paragraph 78 that you cannot recall receiving the presentation referred to in the email. Do you mean by that the presentation that Mick Matthews was offering?
Yes.
Do you recall any discussion as to whether that kind of presentation might be useful for investigators in the post office?
Sorry, I don't recall any discussion around it.
When you took up the permanent investigator role in 2005, were you given any training on the Horizon system?
I don't recall any training on Horizon system. I do recall, I think, when I was temporary in 2000, we went to a hotel for a day to look at the system. What that covered, I can't remember.
Why would you only took up a role temporarily but then get no training on the system where the prosecutions and the cases that you bring in heavily depend, if not are solely reliant, I believe in some cases, on data produced by the system? Surely you need that insight, otherwise surely that means the investigation can't be thorough.
And you say to look at the system. What do you mean by that?
We were put in front of terminals, and it was in a hotel. I think it was a Swallow Hotel in Glasgow, as it was known at that time. I'm not sure what it covered, to be honest with you.
Did you receive any other training on the Horizon system apart from that training in the hotel in 2000?
I don't recall receiving any other training.
Wow. At the post office since 1979, the Horizon system was in development in the mid-90s for sure. Well, it actually must have been in the early 90s as well. Testing phase in 1996. It was fully rolled out in 1999. He might have had a day's training in 2000, he says, but then no subsequent Horizon training. So 1 day of Horizon training in 2000, that sounds woefully inadequate.
Did you ever receive any training on analysis of the data from the Horizon system?
Well, maybe they weren't trained on it. They need to be trained on analysing the data Horizon produced. It still leaves you with a blind spot with how Horizon works. But if you're expected to be asking Fujitsu for this audit evidence and then interpreting that to decide whether to bring a criminal case, the answer to this seems absolutely crucial.
No.
Wow. No. No training on analysing Horizon data that you are using as evidence to bring cases against subpostmasters. Well, wow, that's a major admission, that.
You say in your statement at paragraph 31 that during an investigation you liaised mainly with contract managers, the former agent debt team, and cash management. Is that right?
Yes.
Were you given any guidance in your training on which other teams within the post office you should speak to gather evidence in a case where the Horizon system had shown an apparent shortfall?
Not that I recall.
Were you made aware that product and branch accounting or information security might have relevant information relating to the operation of the Horizon system?
Sorry, could you repeat the question, please?
So there are two specific teams that I'm asking about, product and branch accounting and information security. And I'm asking if you were ever made aware that they might have relevant information when you were looking at the Horizon system and shortfalls shown by it.
Now that you've mentioned it, I probably would have been at the time. I was...
Well, that's not I was. That says it sounds like I should have done, which, to be fair, product branch and information security teams would probably, it sounds like, as the issue is with branches and alleged sub-postmasters doing the wrong thing, then that would absolutely seem somewhere to look. In information security, where you're dealing with information, a lot of the evidence is based on information, so even from an outsider point of view, that seems logical.
Right, when I wrote the statement, it's what I could recall at that point in time when I was writing it.
Is this an extra recall now that she's answered the question? Is this further corrections?